Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And yes, I have not posted a video in about a week, I think. But very good reason. A couple reasons. One, of course, I've gotten swallowed up by the WoW Classic thing. And part of that is because of the server queues. So you find yourself wanting to get on as soon as you can so you're not stuck in a queue. And then you don't want to log off because then you'll suffer having to go through a queue once you log back on. They've kind of fixed it where if you get disconnected, like a server disconnect, within a few, like I think they give you a couple of minutes and you can log right back on without going into the queue. But any longer than that, boom, you get put right back into the queue. So I've kind of fallen into that trap there. But things have started to even out now. And I'm rarely finding queues. Like over the weekend you'll find them, but other than that it seems to be pretty good. So so things are kind of evening out, and I think that will be less and less of a feeling of urgency or anything like that. But the other thing is, we had our close friends coming into town this past weekend for a very special event. And what I'm going to tell you is a tale of woe, followed by a tale of jubilation. So yeah, we were preparing for our friends to come in. One of my all-time best friends, Chris, and his wife, Stephanie, were coming in because Chris was good enough to buy 4 tickets to the Kiss concert that was here in Salt Lake City. Well, supposed to be in Salt Lake City, here where we live. And so to surprise his wife, it was like their anniversary / her birthday weekend, and it was a surprise weekend. He wasn't telling her where they were going. All she knew, they were getting on an airplane for the weekend. That's all she knew. But the idea was that they would fly up here, and then we would literally drive to the concert venue, and that's when she would find out. But unfortunately, here comes the woe. Gene Simmons of Kiss, he had some kind of a medical issue, and he had to go back to LA to have a procedure done like right away. And they canceled the concert. And I say canceled. Everybody else said, oh, they just postponed it till like next March or whatever. Well, to me, if they didn't have the date, they didn't have the concert on the date they said they were gonna, it's canceled. It will be rescheduled, but as far as I'm concerned, it was canceled because we didn't go to a concert on Saturday night. So that is the tale of woe. So, because I literally found out, and I called him, and they were on the runway taking off from LA to fly up here. So there was no turning back at that point. So they come up anyway. And we decided, well, I shouldn't say we, Chris decided. Now this is after he'd already bought the 4 tickets for the Kiss concert that we ended up not going to, that we hopefully will be in sometime in March or something like that. But he'd already bought those and airfare to get up here for him and his wife. And then he says, hey, he texts me, how about we go to Evermore Park on Saturday night, or, well, that night, because they flew up on Saturday morning. He goes, let's go to Evermore, and he goes, I'm buying. So now he wants to buy 4 tickets for us to go to Evermore Park. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, what in the hell is Evermore Park? Evermore Park is a themed adventure park 5 to 10 minutes away from my house. Like, literally, I drive by there like 2-3 times a week. It's literally just down the street. And when I say themed adventure park, what I mean is it's basically live-action Dungeons and Dragons park. It's not branded Dungeons and Dragons and all that, but it's very much fantasy, a fantasy-themed park where you go and everybody, all the people that work there, they're all in character. All the time. Like, the whole time you're there, they're in character. So, a lot of the people that go and visit go cosplaying. They go dressed up and in character, like, say, their D&D character, or their Pathfinder character, or whatever. and they stay in character as they're interacting with these people at the park. Now, when I say it's kind of like live action D&D in a park, it's because all of these NPCs, for lack of a better term, that you interact with, who are all in character, they send you on quests. And many of them. You can just talk to any of them and strike up a conversation. And it does help if you're in character. If you kind of play along as a character and you're looking for work, just like you do in D&D. You know, hey, I need to earn some gold. Have you got any work for me? You know, you got anything you need me to do? And they will start sending you on quests. And they do reward you with gold. It's not real gold. But they give you these faux gold pieces as reward. And I'll get into a little bit more about that. There's intricate storylines, and each season of the year has a different storyline. So, like right now is the Halloween one called Lore. And that was the one and it goes all the way through October. And then I think it'll go into the Christmas one, which I think is Aurora. But they have all these storylines and all this. And the main storyline for Lore basically was that in the land of Evermore, which you are now in when you're there, some portal has opened, and all of these denizens have come through. And once the sun goes down, they start wreaking havoc upon the town. And so when you first get there, the NPCs are trying to enlist you to help figure out how to stop this. That's what they're trying to do. So you're starting to go on all these quests and stuff, and they've got, so like, here's just one as an example, night recruitment, and it basically has tasks here that you have to do. You have to do 3 things: honor, loyalty, and wit. Honor, earn 3 pieces of gold and give them to someone in need. Write their name down below. So you have to write the name of one of the characters at the park. So you can't just scribble some bullshit name in there, because the people that you turn this into are gonna say, well, no, that's not, who's that? You know, we don't know that person, you know, or whatever. And so you got to actually find and put their names in there. And then loyalty, pledge friendship to an Evermore resident and have them declare their friendship in return. Write their name down below. And then wit, keep your wits about you as you travel through the catacombs and mausoleum and count the number of candles on the walls. Bullshit. Because we went through the catacombs and the mausoleum. And the idea of counting the candles on the walls, in that frickin' pitch black, dark, spooky ass place, because you know, as you're counting these damn candles, we hadn't seen this when we went through. We just kind of went through kind of quick, but to sit there and have to count the candles, yeah. So I'm not going to spoil any more of it. I'm just going to say, that would be a lot. It would be fun, but you would earn that. And, so then I guess you can become a knight. We didn't find this until almost at the end of the evening, because this was our first time going. So it's kind of what I like to call a recon trip, kind of learning the lay of the land and everything. None of us were in costume, none of us were in character really. The next time I go, especially if I go with some of our gamer friends here that play in our regular D&D campaign, we could just go as our party. How cool would that be? You know, and I've already got my outfit. I cosplayed at Comic-Con as Davos Seaworth from Game of Thrones. And if you haven't seen that and you want to, you got to go all the way. You got to go back and look at my Comic-Con videos on my channel. You'll find them. I have a playlist for them. Go back and watch them. You'll see. And you can also go to my Facebook page and see the pictures there, which all of the pictures from this Evermore trip are also at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Greyhawk4x4. I will put a link down below, so rest assured. I will also put a link for Evermore Park, which I believe is just evermorepark.com or something like that. But I will put the actual link in the description below, so you can check this place out. It's incredible. All of the buildings are legit, like real stonemason built buildings, and you'll actually see in some of the pictures there's still some under construction that they haven't finished. There's like a cathedral that they're building, and it's legit. They're building an actual cathedral for the park. And I mean, the tavern and the dwarven home, and I mean, just it goes on and on. You'll see it in the pictures. But then, as you do all this stuff, you actually level up. And for lore, we each got level 1. And then every time you go back, I guess you can level up some more or whatnot. And then this one's for lore, so like Aurora is a whole different thing, so you can level up in Aurora, etc. Just let me tell you what, if you like if you like cosplay, if you like LARPing, if you like just plain old tabletop role-playing games, if you like fantasy movies and TV shows, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff, you will love Evermore Park. So, anyway, that's enough about that. You can check out the pictures and everything on my Facebook page. And yeah, that was a blast. Oh, by the way, there's also axe throwing and archery that you can do. And there was a live bird and reptile show that we sat and watched. I mean, the whole park's cool. So just check it out. Oh, I gotta tell you about this. So the gold that you get on these quests and stuff that you get from NPCs, you can use it like this for other quests where you need to earn it for that. But then there's stuff that you can go and I guess buy. If you get enough, you can go and buy stuff. We didn't check into that, but I know there's a way that you can use this as currency in the park. So you can do that. There was another thing where there was a knight who was challenging people to a, quote, joust. And what it was rock, paper, scissors. And if you lost, you had to give him a piece of your gold. And vice versa, if you won, he'd give you a piece of gold. And so that was actually, watching that was actually pretty damn funny because the way they did it and everything. But you guys got to check it out. If you happen to be in this area, you got to go to Evermore Park. And I think there's other YouTube videos about people that have been and taken video and all that, so you guys can check it all out. But real quick on the other stuff, on our D&D campaign back here, we obviously didn't play Friday night because my wife and I were preparing for our friend's visit. But the previous week, we had gone back to... Now, if you want to follow the story, you got to go back and watch the previous videos to follow along. I'm not going to do a full recap for everybody. You can go back and watch the other videos. We went back to the ogre cave that I mentioned in the last video, where we had killed these ogres, and then an ochre jelly had come through this crack in the wall and attacked us, and we killed that and everything. One of the things we found when we were in there, we found these crystals that we had no idea what the hell they do. And we went back to town. We were trying to find out what they do, and somebody said, oh, I think we went to one of the mages or something, and he said, oh, those are used to store magic or something like that. And we decide at some point, let's go back to that cave and see where that ochre jelly came through the wall. If there's anything behind that, maybe we can break through that wall and find out what's behind there. So we go back, and we do not get through the wall because we are then attacked by some demons, like some little quasit demon-type creatures, and these weird, I call them smoke Liberaces, because the way the DM described them to us, it was like these flamboyantly dressed humanoids that are kind of like court jester type guys, but they're maniacal, and they laugh and cackle and at your misfortune and all this. But as they're fighting you, and they blow frickin' smoke in your face, and then it envelops you in this smoke that you can't see or do anything in, which makes it very difficult to fight them. And they're laughing at your ass the whole time, and everything. So I call them the smoke Liberaces, because if you're old enough to know who Liberace is, you get the joke. If you're not, you can Google Liberace, and then you will get the joke. So the smoke Liberaces were a pain. I mean, they were it was the entire session, that combat was the entire session, because they're so hard to do anything with. So I, as the cleric, finally got the idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to cast protection from evil. And that helped a lot. So I did that. I was trying not to waste spells on anything other than healing, because we needed a lot of healing. So did that, and we finally got him down, and that was it. That was the whole session last time was. And by the way, the whole time, these little smoke Liberace dudes are talking telepathically, kind of, or they're speaking through the smoke or whatever to some of our other party members and saying, hey, give us the crystals. We just want the crystals. If you just give us the crystals, we'll leave you alone. Our master needs the crystals. Just give them the. Wouldn't it just be easier just to drop the crystals and we'll leave you alone? Which we knew they wouldn't. We knew they would try to kill us anyway. So there's no point in trying to bargain with these guys. But for some reason, they want these damn crystals. So now we definitely know that they're valuable, because they wanted them bad. And but we ended up defeating everybody, the little demon dudes and the smoke Liberaces and all that. And that was the end. I mean, and we were spent, like all of our characters. I can't remember how many people went down. I kept healing people, just trying to get them back up on their feet to keep fighting, and it was epic. So anyway, that's where that campaign is there, and we'll play again this Friday. And then I don't think we have any interruptions for the foreseeable future. Knock on wood. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on was some of my viewers have asked me questions about World of Warcraft Classic and some of the things that are going on with it. And one of them I do want to talk about, and that is that there was this exploit that some players, well, apparently a lot of guilds were doing this, where they could go into dungeons and they could use this layering that's happening in the game to manage the load of players on the server, do it different layers, so that you don't necessarily see everybody. Like if you go to Stormwind and you're in a part of Stormwind, you may not see all the players that are there to help with the server load. They're on different layers. And if you get invited to a party, all of a sudden they will appear if you get invited to their layer. And then that helps with the server load, because there's so many players. But some people are taking advantage of this, and they are going into dungeons, and by doing this layering thing, this exploit, they're able to skip the whole dungeon except for the last boss. And I'm guessing that they leave people like at the last boss or something. Everybody else leaves, and then they get invited to a different layer, and that resets the dungeon, but those guys are already at the boss, and somehow they just appear I'm guessing, at the boss, and then they fight and kill the boss, and they do that over and over again to get the best loot, because obviously the end boss is going to have the best loot. Plus, you don't have to fight through all the trash and everything else, and they were just racking up the freaking gold and items and everything else. And so one of my viewers even said, hey, I'm going to quit if this keeps up, because this is ridiculous. It's ruining the economy, which it will if that keeps up. But no sooner did he, I think it's a he that left that message for me, and did he leave that message for me, that I saw that Blizzard had done a hotfix to fix that exploit, and then punitively punish, I guess that's redundant, punitively punish, yeah, that's redundant, anyway, to punish those folks that took advantage of the exploit. They have a way of seeing, they can check logs and stuff and say, oh yeah, these guys were doing it, and now how they're going to punish them, no idea. But apparently it has been fixed. That exploit has been fixed. It can't be used anymore, and they're going to punish those players. So I hope, and I don't remember which of my viewers it was that sent me that message, but I hope that answers your question. I hope you saw that already, so that this is old news probably, hopefully by now. But if not, there's your answer. They did fix it. So anyway, those are just some of the things that, with this layering technology that they're using, they're finding out that, of course, assholes are going to exploit anything they can. And now why you would want to do that as a player, I don't understand. Because if you were clamoring to play Classic and have the Classic experience, why would you want an exploit for easy mode like that? For God mode, basically, to get all this. I mean, if you wanted the Classic experience, you want to feel like you're earning stuff, that you're actually accomplishing things, and you're actually making it through the dungeons and making it through the raids and everything. Old school. You had to grind your way up, get the stuff, you know. Why would you want to take advantage of some type of exploit like that if you truly... Because if not, go play BFA, because that shit's autopilot anyway. I mean, you can just win, you can just get whatever you want, and just, you know, hit a couple buttons, you're in a raid, boom, you finish the raid, boom, you get the stuff. I mean, go do that, because that's what that is. That the reason you play Classic is to do it old school, not use some exploit. But anyway, we're almost at a 21-minute video. I haven't made one for a while, so that's why this one went long, obviously. Again, follow me on social media. You'll see pictures like the Evermore stuff and all that. Go back and look at some... If you want to see the old Comic-Con stuff, you can check that out. And like, subscribe, whatever. And we will catch you guys on the next side. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Almost fucked up my own outro. See ya.